Hey guys, what's up? So this is John Moyer here. I'm just getting the lighting going. I've never done this in my studio before. Oh, I can see some of my stuff back there is a little crooked. Let me fix that one. Here we go. All right. How's everybody doing? It's a little bright, right? Maybe a little better like that. Cool. Hey, how's it going? I see we've got some people joining us now. So as you know, this page got hacked by apparently somebody who really loves poker. So that was weird. And let me tell you, getting your page back it's pretty tough actually. A lot of people told me that it wasn't going to happen, or I would have a hard time getting it back. It took a good 2 weeks. And I'm going to say a name, and you're going to hear this name a lot throughout the next, half an hour, or however long I'm on. My friend, let me turn down the lighting a little bit here. Let's see, does this help a little bit? So I'm not so bright. Here we go. Okay. All right, so my friend Hannah Bearcat. She is a singer, she's a songwriter, she's one of my clients. Go over to her page, Hannah Bearcat, and check her out. As soon as I got hacked, she called me and she goes, John, I want to help you get this back. And I gave her, the information she needed. She got in touch with Meta, and as my advocate, she handled the going back and forth. She was able to get a claim ticket going, which for a lot of people, that was so hard. Hi, what's up, Rudy? How you doing? I see people are adding on. This is great. So she got this whole thing going, and then it was a lot of back and forth. And here's another interesting thing too. Meta wants like all this information. So first of all, you got to prove that you're a public figure. You got to prove that you are a musician. I had to show not just the fact that I owned the page, but like who I was and if I really was that person, which is it's pretty obvious, but that it used to be mine and now it's a poker thing. And then we had to lay claim that the person who's obviously posting all these videos is not me, or isn't, someone like me. Hey, Hannah, I was just talking about you. I was just saying how Hannah here spearheaded the whole thing. And she, honestly, without you, Hannah, I don't think I would have gotten this page back. I really appreciate it, honey. And I want everybody to go over to her page and all her socials and check her out. She's an amazing singer. Her and her drummer, Lisa, they travel all over the country. They do shows all the time. She is a working musician in the truest sense of the word. And so I made her a deal. I said, look, you get my page back, because I produced her before. I said, the next song we do, you don't have to pay me for it. Don't worry about studio time. We're going to work, and we're going to do a song together. So we get the page back. I hit her up, and I go, awesome, I got the page back. When do you want to come in? She goes, I can't get in until March. That's how busy she is, guys. So I was like, you know what? As soon as you're back in March, and I'll be out in March anyways for half the month anyways, because Disturbed's going to be in Australia, right? So just want to remind everybody of that. Can everybody hear me okay? Give me like a thumbs up or just like a yes or something like that. I'm glad I'm back too, Jim. Thank you. Hey, Gary. Oh, yeah. I'm a big comic book fan, for those of you. Hi, Lisa. Can you guys hear me? You guys can hear me, right? Somebody let me know they can hear me. Oh, wait a minute. Let me do that. Now can you hear me? Is it better now? It's got to be better. All right. You guys can probably hear me now. Yeah, no poker anymore. So, if you didn't hear me earlier, Hannah Bearcat, amazing singer, she's the one who helped me get my page back. So, this Facebook Live is dedicated to you, Hannah. I want all of my fans to go over there. I want you guys to give her the support that you give me. See where she's going. Go see her show. Her and her drummer Lisa, who's on here too watching, are just amazing, and they're playing all over the country. And like I said earlier, they are true working musicians. So I'm here hanging out in my studio, and as you can see behind me, it's not all of them, but it's most of the gold and platinum records that I've gotten with Disturbed over the years. My very first one was with my very first record, which was 10,000 Fists. And I think it's way up in the corner. You see that one up there? That was my very first platinum record right there. And that was the 10,000 Fists record. And obviously over the years, these aren't all just from the United States either, because like if you look at this one right here, these are from New Zealand. And this one over here is one of my favorites. Right here is the one for Indestructible, and that's the Australian gold record. And it's really clear, the Australian gold record. It's really cool. It's got like, the country on it, and it's got like all this kind of like Australia type barbed wire and stuff like that, to kind of, to point out the country. But anyways, I've had these up for a while and I love them, but I think that I'm going to be doing a lot more of this live thing with you guys. And to do that, I want to make an environment that's a little more eye-pleasing and fun for everybody, including myself. So I think I'm going to be taking a lot of these down. I don't know where I'm going to put them, but I'm going to create something a little better in the background, a little more fun, because I want to be in touch with you guys more. I want to be more connected. And then when we go on the road, coming up in January, February, and March, I'm going to do my best to FaceTime, live Facebook with you guys a couple times a week. I saw Disturbed in Baghdad back in the thanks for supporting the troops. That was Operation MySpace, I believe. We played, I remember that one. Met you in Camden, VIP, loved it. You're welcome. Absolutely. Thank you, Kathy. I see a lot of familiar faces. Rich Slutkowski, my man. I hope your Sunday gig went really well. This is great. Seeing all my pals here. So, also, if I can tell you guys, I'm trying to build up my TikTok. So, obviously with Facebook and Instagram, I've got about 40,000 people on each one, and it's great, and you fans are just the best. My TikTok's a little sluggish right now. I haven't even broken 1,000 yet. And until I break 1,000, I can't do anything live on TikTok. So, it would be awesome if you guys, if you have a TikTok account, or even if you don't, go open one up over there, and go like me over there and on my page. And it's the same thing. It's John Moyer Bass over there. Detroit love. Love it. We have tickets for Baltimore in February. That's going to be an awesome one. What's up, Wally? Oh yeah, someone mentioned the pyro sprinklers. So, little story for you guys who who got to come see us this year. Disturbed had a lot of pyro, probably the most pyro we've ever had, in our career. And in the course of having this pyro, we had two things that happened. Now, we didn't burn anything down, thank goodness, but in Houston, we set off the sprinklers. And it's the first time in my career that that's ever happened. And honestly, I don't know of any band that's ever, set off the fire sprinklers doing a show like that. So that's a first that I've ever seen. That's definitely a first for us. Well, let me tell you how it went down, okay? We were playing Inside the Fire. At the time, it was our closing song. And of course, Inside the Fire is going to have all the pyro and everything possible that could be going on. And it was getting hot. And we're all at the front, and all of a sudden, I feel like this hot, sticky liquid. It is gross. And it like starts falling on us. It's on my skin. Because that water had been in those pipes probably for many, many years. Because that was like the end of the chain right there, right? It's not like water that's flowing through. It wasn't fresh. And of course, it was hot, probably from the pyro, and it was a summer Houston day. So that water had just been sitting up there just cooking. So it falls on us, this hot, sticky, slimy water. And it took us all a minute to realize what happened. We all kind of looked at each other. We look up and we're like, oh my gosh. And then I would say after about 60 seconds or so, the fresh water came in and just doused me, the entire band, all of our gear, as far as like our instruments, the drums, and then also like out into the audience, I would say a good 15 to 20 feet. So they were feeling it too. And a lot of people thought it was part of the show. They thought, because, and so we finished the song and the sprinklers are still coming down because they can't turn it off. Like once they go off, they're on for however many minutes, 10 minutes or whatever it is. So we finished the song, water's still coming down. We dump off our instruments, our techs are drying up everything, they're trying to cover our pedal boards, and we walk out to the middle, and I remember this because my son was out in the crowd. He was with me on the Texas shows, my son Logan. He's 16, he loves to be in the mosh pit. He was 15 at the time, but he was out there just moshing away. And we go to the front, and we take a bow, and they're just still just pouring on us. So we leave the stage, we're like, wow, that was crazy, hopefully nothing got hurt, hopefully everything's okay. And then I asked our drum tech afterward, because we're getting washed up and cleaned up, and then he comes backstage, after they cleared our stage, and I said, hey man, how long did the sprinklers keep going? And Nick Engel, our amazing, he used to be our drum tech, now he's our stage manager. Nick Engel goes, oh, it went on for another 10 minutes after you guys left the stage. I was like, wow. So everyone just kind of had to wait there until the water decided to stop. So, yeah, wetness. That's right, Ed. Anyways, that's one of the best. So, it didn't end there. Obviously, that was a fluke. Obviously, we're not trying to set off sprinklers, okay? But then it happened again in Camden, which Camden's like where the venue's at, but it's actually the Philadelphia show. People who know. So it was the Philadelphia show in Camden, and we did it again. And it was like, oh my gosh. It wasn't quite as bad, but it still happened. And it always tends to happen right during Dan's guitar solo. So like we're playing, and it's just towards the end. Like it's like the grand finale. After that, it was a little touch and go with our pyro. Some of the venues were real concerned we're going to set off more sprinkler systems. Of course, we weren't trying to do that. But it did happen, and there's a bunch of safeguards in place. You have fire marshals on site the whole time, and they have these guns that have like laser readings, and they're sitting there and they can read the heat wherever they point the gun at. So they're pointing it up there, and they know the threshold, and they're right there next to our pyro guy, and not once did they say anything. But a lot of these venues are older, so I think maybe the tolerances aren't what they used to be. And I think that's more what happened than anything else. But it did make, we did make a bit of a name for ourselves in the fire marshal community. And we're not on purpose, So those of you who are going to come see our tour this year, in January and February, we are bringing the pyro. And so, none of that's going to get taken away. But we're going to do our best not to set off. We're swear to God, we're not trying to set off the sprinklers. But definitely be prepared to feel the heat. It's hot on stage. It's hot in the crowd. It's a lot of fun. Anyways, so once again, for you guys, anyone who just joined, I've got my Facebook page back. Yay. Thank you for my favorite fans for hanging in there. I'm sure you guys learned a lot about poker. The sprinklers would have been great. The Arizona show. I agree, pal. The Arizona show, by the way, is the one show we had to cancel from weather, from heat. And that is also, that's a career first. And never in my career, and never in Disturbed's career, did it get so hot we couldn't do a show. But like all the electronic gear wouldn't work. The monitor board wouldn't work. The front of house board wouldn't work. Like your phone, when it gets too hot, it just shuts down. It was 118 degrees and all the electronics were shutting down, so we couldn't do the show. But I agree, that would have been a good one to have the sprinklers at. Although the sprinklers would have probably gone on after the first song. It was so hot. Anyways, favorite venue to play, Jim? That's a good one. I have a couple favorite venues. I'll tell you one of the most fun venues, and it's actually not one of the biggest ones. There's a venue in New Hampshire. Hold on a second. And this place is cool. There's a venue in New Hampshire, in Guilford, New Hampshire, right here, right? And they've got the best backstage area. They always have great catering. It's like lobster, bisque, and they've got like areas for everybody to chill out. They got like a treehouse area. They have a putt-putt golf range. They've got a swimming pool. They've got a backyard bar. Then they've got like this arcade area. They got bikes and little scooters you can ride around on. They got basketball hoops. And the venue itself is, it's not huge. It's an outdoor amphitheater, but it's covered, right? And for me as a bass player, when you have that kind of covered amphitheater like that goes out, it's great. My tone just, is so huge and powerful in those kind of rooms. And I remember thinking that my bass solo that night was the best sounding bass solo of the entire tour. So not only was there like this awesome area for our crew and the band to hang out, then I had, to me, one of my best sounding shows ever. And, special thanks to our sound man, Brad, who kills it. They also give you, so I kept this. They give this to everybody at the end of the show. It's like they give you free t-shirts, but then they give you this. This is a hangover bag or, party bag, whatever you want to call it. So it comes with these little under eye patches, I guess, for if you've been out there a little dehydrated the next day. Comes with Advil. I mean, how cool is this place? This is in Guilford, New Hampshire. Comes with some liquid IV. This is good. I just kept the bag. I just loved it so much. It came with these little Tic Tacs, because, if you're out drinking beer all night, you're not going to have the best breath the next morning. And then a little snack so you can get out of the bunk and make it to breakfast the next day. Anyways, so that's the answer. That's the answer to what's one of my very favorite venues to play. Winnipesaukee. And I think it's Lake Winnipesaukee, I think is the name of the venue in Guilford, New Hampshire. Great place. Great people. Great show. Speaking of cool venues, have you seen... Oh, you saw us at Red Rocks and Sturgis. Cool. Red Rocks is fun, very unique. As a fan, it's fun. You're in the mountains and you're looking down. And Disturbed actually has a live at Red Rocks record that our monitor engineer, Ashton Parsons, actually did the mix on. And really liked that one. That was a good show. And then the other one you mentioned is Sturgis. Oh, wait, I gotta stop. A friend of mine just said, when you guys mentioned Nocturnal Affair. So besides being a bass player, I also produce. And I got a handful of bands that I work with. One of the people I work with, by the way, once again, is Hannah Bearcat, who helped me get my page back. Thank you, Hannah. Go like her page, give her some love. Another band I produce is called The Nocturnal Affair. So The Nocturnal Affair, the lead singer, Brendan Shane, he and I have been friends for a very long time. And the last couple records that he's put out, I produced. And he's been touring the U.S. In fact, he has a tour coming up with another band I produced called Neverwake. So two bands I produce are going out and they're going to be touring the U.S. together. They're going to call it the John Moyer Tour. Just kidding, they're not. But Silver Tongue is the headliner, and then Nocturnal Affair, and then my boys in Neverwake. And I'm very proud of all those records. But speaking of the Nocturnal Affair record, really proud of how that record turned out. He's got a single right now that we were working at radio last over the summertime. It's a Depeche Mode cover. So go to Spotify or Apple iTunes, or wherever you get your music from, and check out Nocturnal Affair, and check out Neverwake, check out Hannah Bearcat, and you start to get a feel for what I produce. I rock and metal are kind of in my soul, so I'm never gonna that's always gonna be my go-to. I wouldn't mind doing a country record, I guess, but I'm not really sure what I would do. I don't know how to do that. So it's, if you listen to the stuff I produce, all of it's heavy, all of it's rocking, and I just like that high energy. Hey, what's up? How you guys doing? Jeffrey, what's up? Justin, super pumped for that run. Justin's a guitar player for Neverwake. Welcome. Yeah. You guys are going to have so much fun together, and I think the Neverwake and Nocturnal Camps have met before, and this is kind of how this whole tour came into place, and I know you guys are going to have so much fun. Would you please post all the bands you work with and produce? I didn't catch them all. So I really appreciate that. So I have a website called johnmoyermusic.com, and if you go to it, johnmoyermusic.com, there's 2 pages at the top. One is bands I play in. So that includes my very first band, Soak, that was signed to Interscope Records, the years and the records I did with Union Underground. Obviously, all the Disturbed stuff I've done, as well as Adrenaline Mob, and then the stuff I did with Jeff Tate in Operation Mindcrime, the 2 records I did with Art of Anarchy. So those are all the records that I played on that have been, you know, that were released on major label records, on major labels, you know, and I toured and we did whatever. And then there's another page, if you want to check out the bands I produce, and you click on that, and there's a Spotify playlist that I have, and it's not every song I produced, but it's like, you know, some of my favorites. And you can click on that, and there's like 10 or 15 bands on there, and different songs that I've produced over the years. And I'd love for you guys to check it out. Once again, johnmoyermusic.com. You can check out bands I play in and the bands I produce. There's a couple different Spotify playlists that are up there. And Art of Anarchy was great. Thank you, Holly. Just so you know, Art of Anarchy might be coming back. Not with me in the band, but I'm still great friends with all of them. They've got a new singer. I don't know if they've announced it yet, so I don't want to spoil anything, but I've heard the record, and it's just incredible. What's up, Todd? How you doing, pal? One of my friends, Todd Rockfield. Todd helped me create my very first and my only signature bass that was out with BC Rich Guitars. I play Spectres now, but I played the BC Rich basses for a lot of years, on a lot of these records and a lot of these tours. And 50's treating me really good, Thomas, thanks. So I've been thinking about, because I'm sitting on a bunch of these basses, and they're in a storage closet, and I'm not using them, but I want them to get used. I want someone to use them. I want someone to appreciate them. And living in a storage locker is not my idea of you know, a good life for an instrument. So I'm going to ask you guys what you think. I was thinking of pulling out some select ones that I played on the road, and it'll come with pictures, a pic, and me packaging it, and me selling it to you guys. And, you know, for a portion of the proceeds going to a couple of different charities that I support. And you know, some of you fans can actually have a piece of Disturbed history, of John Moyer bass player history, basses I've actually played that I'm not using anymore, but they still sound great. You can play them, or you can just hang them up, whatever you want. What do you guys think? Is that something that you guys would be interested in? Yeah, see, he said, would you ever sell any of those basses? And that's what I'm talking about. You know, I want to do a thing where maybe, you know, I pull some of them out and we do some auctions. Well, Wounded Warrior that's not the exact one I do, but I do a charity for veterans. 22 Kill is my go-to charity, but there's a couple other ones. Anyways, so yeah, yes, do it. Right? I should, because these basses are just going to sit there and atrophy, basically. If you don't play an instrument, they deteriorate. You got to play them. So I'm going to do it, you know. My wife, Brandy, was telling me, she's like, you have stuff that, you know, other people would really appreciate that you're not using. And, well, that's cool. So okay, so I'm gonna start doing it. I'm going to go and pull out a couple basses and put something together for you guys. So, you know, maybe you guys can get a couple of picks to go with it. I've got, these are picks from the new, is it focusing? The new tour, it's kind of blurring out. Anyways, and it's got my initials on the back. See right there. So do it on your website and announce it and other social media. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pull something together. Yep, the vets are definitely one of my go-to charity supports. You know, for years I was doing the push-up challenge, and you know, I have old videos of me doing it. I was doing it all over the world. So I would do it with like people who came to our meet and greets. I would do it with other artists and other bands. I did the push-up challenge with the Alter Bridge guys. I had the guys in Disturbed do it with me. And I always find like somebody different to do it with. I did it with the Saint Asonia camp. So, you know, I've always tried to give awareness to that, you know, that charity. Cool. I've got One of your badass picks, you gave it to me at Riff Fest in Michigan. Ha 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 ha. Right on. Okay, well, you guys have convinced me. I'm definitely going to do this. Right on. So, those of you who are just joining, I decided to get on live today to not only get to know you guys a little better, but also to celebrate me getting my page back. It was stressful. And once again, my very good friend and client who I produce, Hannah Bearcat, helped me get the page back. And I can't say thank you enough to her. So she's on the stream right now. Go over to her page, Hannah Bearcat, give her a like, check out her music, go see a show. Wait, you'll be later to make sure one of those bases don't go to waste. Right on. But go to one of Hannah's shows, support her. She is awesome. Give her the love. She's just an amazing artist. She's an amazing singer, and she's a great friend too. And while you're at it, go check out Disturbed's upcoming tour dates. We're doing another run for the Divisive record, and then we're doing a U.S. run, and then we just announced Australia dates and New Zealand. Where you been? We haven't been over there in a minute. So while we're over in Ausland, we're gonna hop across the water there and play for the Kiwis, and I do love it over there. I'm really looking forward. It's been a minute. I think it's been like 6 or 7 years since we've been over there, maybe a little longer. So as a band, we're definitely looking forward to getting back over there. Hi Michelle, how you doing? Well, I'm glad are you guys having fun? So as I do more of this, I was also thinking that I'm gonna work on the audio, but I was thinking maybe I could play for you guys sometimes too. And then maybe even do some instructionals on how to play some of the Disturbed songs. And then maybe even play along with, some of your favorite rock songs. I mean, I didn't always just play Disturbed songs. I grew up playing Metallica, Alice in Chains, Soundgarden, Ozzy, Black Sabbath. That's the stuff that I grew up playing. And, besides playing some Disturbed stuff for you guys, I'm thinking it'd be fun just to, bring up Iron Man or War Pigs and just jam along. So I think some of this stuff I might do on Facebook Live, but I also want to do a lot of this on TikTok. And so if you guys are inclined, and if you have a TikTok, please go over there, like John Moyer Bass over at TikTok. It'll go a long way for me. I'm just starting that site or that page now. But if I get to 1,000, then I can start. I hardly have anyone over there. I'm like at 850. I was at 850 at least when I started this Facebook Live. So I can't do TikTok Live until I'm over 1,000. So help me out. Get on over there. Ever play Union Underground tunes? I don't. I could. That's not a bad idea. They have a tour coming up. I won't be a part of it, but they will be touring with Soil, Union Underground. It should be, and I think Raw is part of that tour too. Some great bands. That's going to be a fun run for them, and I wish them all the best. So a good pick lesson would be nice. You know what? I think that's fair. I started playing with a pick when I was 16, and it was my go-to when I was 15. And it was my go-to, and it took me a long time before I developed my fingers. Only recently, I would say in the last 10 years, have I become more of a proficient finger player. I think I'm pretty good with my fingers now. But I've always, played in bands that played fast music, and my pick technique, to me, is one of my secrets. There's a way to play with a pick, and there's a style of pick that, in my opinion, works for bass. A lot of people think you have to use a really heavy pick to play bass because the strings are so thick, but I couldn't disagree with you more. And you don't want a super thin pick either. There's one right in the middle. So to me, I can hit the strings as hard as I want, and if I'm using too heavy a pick, it will, I call it makes the strings fart out. It makes the strings go, and they just get no tone out of it. But if you use a thin enough pick, a medium-sized pick, no matter how hard I hit it, I'm still going to get that resonation from the strings. And I think a lot of people don't know that. So that's definitely one of the secrets. And I think I do need to do a dedicated pick lesson. I think it'd be a lot of fun. Any other ideas, guys? Anything you guys think I should be doing? I started with my fingers, never really liked picks. Totally get it. Fingers so much fun, especially for rock. But when you're playing metal, sometimes that pick really helps when you want to go like. For that attack. Sometimes when you do that with your fingers, it can get a little sloppy. Like sometimes it's a little flubby. So like when I'm playing like a rock song, I'll almost always use my fingers. But then there's a point at which it starts to get into the metal zone. And that's, in my opinion, when you want to use a pick. And honestly, I've done lots of sessions for other people. I've played bass on lots of stuff that you guys don't even know about. I'll get hired and I just go in and I don't tell anybody who I am. I don't want any credit on the record. I just go in to help out a producer friend of mine or help out a band friend of mine or an artist. And I'll go in and I'll play. And a lot of times it depends on the tone that I'm getting out of speakers at the time. And we'll go back and forth. And sometimes a producer's style lends itself better to me playing with a pick, or it lends itself better to me playing with my fingers. So, you don't want to pigeonhole yourself, and just let your ears really tell you what the best thing is. Instrument maintenance would be a good one. That's a great idea. I'm missing some of these suggestions, but if I recall, Facebook Live keeps all this, so I'm going to be able to go back later and go through and watch it again and see, make sure I get all these suggestions down, because this is great ideas. You think they'd like to hear that too? Hear what too, Hannah? You're the most animated players I've ever watched. You engage with the audience. It's really awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, guys. So, bass playing isn't about shredding. It's about tone, feel, groove. It's about hitting the strings in such a way that it resonates and it fills the room. A lot of times the less you play, the better. But when you play, it's super important. So I can do more of this sort of bass lesson another time. Let's see, what are we getting up to here? 5:30 my time. I was just going to do 30 minutes and leave you guys wanting more. So I'm going to stay on maybe another 7 or 8 minutes here. And then I'm going to figure out how to make this stuff work a little better sonically, so that next time that we get on, it's going to sound even better. And I'm going to look at these ideas that you guys are telling me. And I really am serious about doing more of this in-person engagement. And I'm going to really try to do it when we go on the road this year. So you may be seeing this, but from the back of a bus, or in our dressing room, or in a broom closet, wherever I can get away, and I can just have you guys, and we can have one-on-one at time. Well, one-on whatever time. But and also, I want to tell you guys stories, stories from the road, things that that pop up, like about the sprinklers today. I love telling that story. Holly, you got to go make dinner. I do too, actually. I got to go help with dinner here in a few. We're a little late on the Christmas tree, so that's my plans tonight. Me and the family, we're putting up the Christmas tree. So that's actually happening very soon. John Moyer, story time. Yep, you know it. Did you model your style on anyone when you decided to become a bass man? I'll tell you this. I played a lot of Guns N' Roses when I started. And honestly, I was playing Guns N' Roses with a pick before I realized that Duff McKagan also uses a pick. So inadvertently, I learned the entire Guns N' Roses first record, Appetite for Destruction. I got one of those tab books, and I didn't really know how music worked. And so I got one of those tab books, and once I learned to decipher tablature, which to me is a great way for anyone to learn. I use tabs all the time. I play a lot of guitar too, so that's another thing that we can do on here. But tabs are great for all that stuff. So I learned all the tabs to Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction. And like I said, I didn't know he was a pick player. He turns into a pick player, or it turns out he's a pick player, and I was like, oh my gosh, I've been, so I would have to say Duff is the guy who I inadvertently modeled myself exactly after as a player. And then, of course, you learn stuff from other players over time. I played a lot of Ozzy Osbourne, so that's, people think, it's Rudy Sarzo, but it's also Bob Daisley. His producer played a lot of those bass lines. And I know it sounds weird, but James Hetfield, because I like to play metal. And James is the metal riff master. And so learning to play those, metal riffs, but on bass, that was always a challenge, and it was always, something fun that I liked to do and something I did in my early bands for years. I'll tell you another quick little piece of Moyer trivia, and let's see who knows this. Can anyone guess the name of my high school band? I'm going to let you guys... I can kind of give you a hint. It's the name of a Disturbed record. So, see if anyone can figure that out. Portnoy is my main drum influence. I love playing with Mike Portnoy. I played with Portnoy in Adrenaline Mob. I did 2 records with him. We had so much fun. He and I are still great friends to this day. If Venom were a bass player, what kind of music would he play? Death metal. Come on, man. Totally. Just like the most insane, grindy shit. The Forgotten. That'd be a great name for a band. It's not The Forgotten. I like that, though. Is anyone going to try to guess the name of my first band? It's a Disturbed album. That's a pretty big hint there. Definitely narrows it down. John, when is the new material going to be released? Well, we just put out Divisive. I guess we put out Divisive about a year ago. So we're still touring that record. And so, it takes time to write a record. Asylum! That's it! That was the name of my very first band, Asylum. Me and my best friends, we played backyard parties, or we'd get a generator and we'd play out in the desert, or mostly we just played at my buddy Damon's house Friday and Saturday nights. Rehearsal was like the gig, and people would show up and we'd just make a bunch of noise, and next thing you know, we had a crowd of people hanging out. So yep, Asylum, that was my first band. Well, listen, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all go. This is so much fun. Couple reminders here. Go like Hannah Bearcat's page. Tell her thank you for getting my page saved and back on track. Go check out the Nocturnal Affair and Never Wake. They have a tour coming up with Silver Tongue. They'll be touring about the same time as Disturbed. So go check out your Disturbed tickets to see when we're coming to your city. Because this is it. This is it for the Divisive record. After we do this run, you may see us at some festivals here and there, but it's not going to be the same. So, guys, come on out. Thank you all for the support. Thank you guys for being fans. This was so much fun. I'm going to do this again, and I will be seeing you guys super soon. Peace. How do I turn this off? Oh, here we go. Finish, right? Okay.